I thought this was already. All right, what's up, everybody? Hello. We already got some people in the chat. What's good? All right, so for anyone who doesn't know, my name is Julian Fitzgerald, one of the co-founders and now the executive director of Cxmmunity. So first, welcome for everybody who's here. It's Giving Tuesday, so we're gonna have a Giving Tuesday stream. We have a number of other streamers who are also streaming right now. A couple of them are live. We'll make sure to share some of their links so you can view their content. I want to say a few of them are doing 12-hour streams, so definitely feel free to check them out. Once again, we'll post that in the chat. But what I'll do is give you all a little bit of background. I'm going to be playing Rogue Company today, and then with my team members, we're probably going to play a little bit of Fall Guys or Among Us, the TBD on that piece. But first things first, let me give you all a little bit of background on who I am, the purpose of Cxmmunity, what we've been able to do to date, and then of course what our mission is, what our focus is. And so, as some of you all may know, our focus is to increase diversity and equity within the gaming space. Getting started about 2 years ago, I actually connected with the other two co-founders, Ryan Johnson and Chris PA, really as I was fundraising for nonprofits. That's really my background, is nonprofit development. And so definitely something I'm super passionate around. But in 2019, the need to really increase representation, increase the number of stakeholders from diverse backgrounds was really brought to my attention by Ryan in about that spring, May timeframe. A lot of conversations developed on, but by the time 2020 rolled around, we were actually in full gear about February. And it was interesting because it was definitely something that we were very vocal around, being able to really articulate the need of using digital literacy skills to introduce an entirely new opportunity to underserved communities. And then COVID hit, as we all know, but it was actually something to our benefit. We were able to really use the attention and the awareness of distance learning, digital literacy as now a necessity in our world, to really amplify the need for our organization. So in 2020, we raised a fundraiser for underserved students. I want to say who weren't able to engage in distance learning. 4 out of 5 students here in APS were able to, but that means that there's 20% of the individuals who weren't. So that 24-hour fundraiser that kicked off Cxmmunity was something that we were able to raise $118,000 for, give students who weren't able to engage in learning laptops, which was huge. One of those individuals was a valedictorian at his school. He was able to maintain his academic status because of the laptops we were able to get. So first off, huge thanks to those who have been rocking with us since 2020. It's been a fast road, but a lot has been able to happen since then. So once again, really speaking to the mission statement, we understood because of our own path, wanting to game or even gaming as students and not understanding there was a progression to get into the industry, we had to provide that same level of awareness and access to others as well. So in that same foundational year, 2020, we focused on putting together programs and really awareness mechanisms that can help people who look like me and you, as well as other stakeholders, business professionals, parents, understand first things first, gaming and esports isn't just mindless gameplay. There's a number of benefits that come from gaming, but then also there's a tremendous amount of opportunity from those who help contribute to the gameplay that we all love and enjoy. And so once again, speaking to the problem that we personally experienced, we sought after really building the relationships with the leaders of the industries, from the content creation side. When you think about right now, we're on Twitch, to even the developers who make the games that we know and love, from Riot Games or maybe Blizzard Activision. So we were focused on first really building relationships with the leaders of the space, and once again, while we're doing that, just providing awareness opportunities to underserved students. Fast forward a little bit, that's been something that's going really well. So in regards to our programs, we partnered from everyone from 100 Thieves early on, Iron Galaxy, Evil Geniuses, to really bring the first wave of awareness of what can actually take place in the gaming space. And so that was huge. We've actually had students who have been engaged with our programs and being able to leverage some of that insight to go obtain internships or secure a scholarship. And so for us, that's the main purpose. Fast forwarding into 2021, of course, we kicked off our HBCU Esports League in 2020, but really kicking off momentum that following spring semester in regards to the amount of engagement and attention that it was starting to garner. That then put us in a really great place to really look at, what's the next hurdle or barrier for engagement and equity in this esports and gaming industry, and that's infrastructure. And so we then sought after building esports labs that give students at HBCUs, as well as students at various communities in different parts of the country, access to an equal playing field. We all know when it comes to esports, the pinnacle of competition is all played on high-end gaming PCs. And so that's something that we look to provide for our community once again, so that we can engage the space in a traditional manner. I'll probably skip past this, but we actually had to start with games in our esports league that we were familiar to playing. And that includes, Madden, 2K, Call of Duty, you name it. But that's, not just out of interest, that's also out of an equity access component. Like I mentioned before, if you don't have a PC to game on, you aren't able to really partake in the larger esports industry. And so we wanted to give our community an opportunity to really leverage the engagement, the excitement of gameplay, but in the way that they are able to immediately partake and participate in. And so once again, that infrastructure piece was a next major focus for us, being able to really provide, the actual esports labs, and then, sometimes the actual broadband connections to sustain those. And so that's been great as well. We've actually built about 5 esports labs to date. I have another 5 or so in the next 6 months that will be built out. And it's great. It's ranging everywhere from here in Atlanta, Houston, Texas, the DMV area. So really making sure that we're spreading not just awareness, but that access to the tools and resources that are needed to engage the space. And so lastly, if you want to kind of think about what our major focuses and challenges are, really pointing back to our mission. The last piece is really making sure we're focusing on providing real access. And so that access means, being able to give our students, our community, a competitive edge, making sure that they understand what it means to have a portfolio and build a meaningful portfolio is our major point. And so for us, we've actually been able to really put together subject matter skill building enrichment opportunities for individuals who want to go into broadcast production, game development, game design, esports operations. And so we actually love to be able to share, these opportunities and really our platform once again with the larger audience, because as we all, like I mentioned before, as we all get a chance to engage in gameplay, we don't all get a chance to really participate in contributing to that gameplay. And so for us, we're excited. We're a community. We're going to be able to talk. We're going to talk about a few more things throughout the day in regards to our impact to date. Some actual tangible use cases and stories of what it means to build equity, and of course within not just esports, but within gaming as well. And so definitely, I'm going to start paying attention to the chat as well. If anybody has questions or would like to learn more in regards to what our focus has been and what we look to do next, definitely jump in. I'm definitely going to jump into some gameplay. But lastly, wanted to hear from you all. Where is everybody tuning in from? How did you all hear about community? What have been your experiences? Whether it's an actual tournament, maybe it was a stream or a panel broadcast that you may have experienced. But I want to hear from everybody in the chat. Feel free to chime in. I definitely am paying attention. I see everyone who's been in here so far. So Jazz, appreciate you. Young Black King is in here active. Love it. What's up? I'm saying what's up. Whoever is interested in Road Company, I'd love to hear that. But once again, tell me where you all are checking in from. I'm going ahead and get this gameplay started. And again, for today is Giving Tuesday, so we'll definitely be once again emphasizing our mission for the sake of really garnering support and donations from our larger audience. As I mentioned, we're here to really increase representation and diversity for underserved youth from all backgrounds and all ages. So we'll make sure that we'll give you all ample opportunity and touch points to really engage in that as well. But let's go ahead and get started in this. Let's see. So Jazz said, I heard about the community because my friend came in and streamed and told me about a tournament we were hosting. Okay, dope. Which tourney was it? I know we actually got a couple of them going on actively right now. As mentioned before, we have our annual HBCU Esports League that includes Madden and 2K. We also have kicked off a Call of Duty League alongside Mountain Dew. So there's a lot of tourneys going on, but definitely interested in hearing which one you engaged with this one. And here from Nashville, what's up, TSU? Yeah, TSU is actually going to be going far. I'm excited about you all's program.
Strike out.
All right, anybody in here actually play Road Company? Let me see. Yeah. Young Black King, watching from Atlanta, heard about community from OG Dot. Yo, OG Dot is literally the OG. So he's actually one of our OGs from our all of our broadcasts. I can say honestly, he was probably engaged with us in our first 6 months of being up and running. So shout out to K Dot. He actually just posted on his LinkedIn that he's now engaging with our media side. So big shout out to him and his progression. Stay in the grind. So love the fact that you engaged with us as well, Young Black King. Let's see here. Yeah, it was a Fortnite tournament. Oh yeah, I'm glad you tuned in. I know that one was a bit of a mixed bag in regards to the results. Those are always different because of how many people are engaged. But yeah. One time. And honestly, I need to get into playing Valorant. I heard if I like Rogue, I would love Valorant, and just haven't started. Once again, y'all, I like to play a lot of games. I could play it on my Xbox. I know that we have access to PCs now, but I still like to play the games I grew up on. I think that's something we all can relate to. Yeah, so I love the fact that y'all been tuned in with this, especially since it seems like some of you all been around early on, since the early days. We've had a lot of we had a lot of different events that gone on in the last 2 years. I want to say we probably haven't had a full 30 days of inactivity, which is a great thing. But yeah, I actually curious to hear what would you all love to see. We've actually been at different activations, tournaments. We've done some music events, but what else is missing? What else could we include? See, I'm slacking, y'all. I need to focus for a second. I didn't even reload my weapon, yo. Nah, but yeah, you're right, King. That console play is just where I know I'm gonna get the W at. I can hop on the mouse and key, but you're gonna be asking me, do I play games? Ah, got behind me. Hey, shout out to Supreme Sensei. She said she donated. I'm talking about a leader in the chat, y'all. Definitely setting the tone for the day. I don't know about my team, y'all. Don't know about my team, y'all. We're gonna get the W. All good. We're gonna get the W. No, I'm slipping. Hey, shout out to the interest, yo. So just to give you all a little bit more background about me, I mentioned the nonprofit piece, but even before that, my background includes a number of different really industries and perspectives. But actually, I'm a United States Marine, Lance Corporal Robinson, formerly known as. That was a serious, huge learning and leadership opportunity for me. I really enjoyed being in the Marine Corps. You know, that was something that I would say is probably going to be good for most people, at least the training component. You know, there's a lot of hurry up and wait, but training I think is something that could be vital for everybody. But that was huge for me. I was similar to air traffic control. Dang. But it was basically talking to pilots, telling them where to fly, how to fly, what ordnance to use. Super, you know, demanding job, but very rewarding at the same time. And so did that for a few years, and I also got to do some military police stuff, just based on, you know, just progressing through that process. But that was a lot of fun. I exited the military in 2015. Started working at State Farm shortly after as really an office manager, just something to once again keep me occupied. Had that leadership experience and transferred it over to just a corporate space, and that was definitely a big learning opportunity as well. Can't say that insurance is something I'm, you know, passionate about, but definitely something we should all understand as well. So working at State Farm was pretty cool here in Atlanta. But really got into the nonprofit space kind of by accident. I was volunteering for nonprofits on a regular basis. Being in the military, one of my gunnery sergeants told me to schedule my downtime, and really great advice, by the way. And so I used to just, you know, volunteer regularly to, you know, to basically fundraise and like volunteer for nonprofits. And one day I found out they were getting paid to be there. I'm like, wait, you guys are getting paid to do what I do for free, kind of once or twice a month. And so looked into that, and dove headfirst into fundraising from about the 2016 to 2019 timeframe. Of course, did a little bit of personal training in between there. That guy was waiting on me. I should have known better. I saw him. But that was what got me into the space. Understanding fundraising is easier when you have your P's and Q's together. Got me into nonprofit development and consulting. So helping community organizations really understand how to secure the dollars, how to secure the bag was like where I started and cut my teeth in the nonprofit space. That went on for about 2 years. Got to work for some great organizations. Some of them, most of them, still in existence to today, and some of them doing some really great work. And that's once again where I met the team. Ryan at the time was, and I want to say working with Chris. They were doing a number of different music events and kind of activations. But the dream for community was all that, just a dream. In 2019, and so it definitely been a fast 2-3 years. I say my trajectory as an individual definitely has been accelerated by just the need to learn in order to actually solve the problem that we've been looking to solve. So everything from learning, of course, production, marketing. I think one of the big ones is really getting a tangible hold on what it means to effectively not just plan but strategize. And so me myself, I definitely am, very thankful for this opportunity, but also I'm excited for what we're going to be able to do. Already had some success stories in regards to students who have taken what we've done and maximized them, the resources we provided. Yes, sir. The fact that I'm getting headshots and talking right now is kind of surprising me. So I'm not even gonna stop. I think this is good practice, but my man is over here dancing on me. That's not good. But all the same, y'all, I love the fact that people are donating. Yes, I do have an Instagram, Julian Mr. Fitzgerald _ in between each one of those words is my Instagram. Definitely check me out. I'll put that in the chat in a second. But yeah, follow me. I'll follow back. I'm super simple. I love to be able to engage with anybody who we have reach with. Let me see. Did I travel while I was in the Marines? I actually didn't travel abroad, but I definitely traveled here stateside. They sent me to about every desert they could find. So I was actually stationed in Yuma, Arizona, which was way out in like the crack of Arizona, 20 miles from Mexico, about 8 or so miles from California. And so stationed there, went to Kirkland Air Force Base in New Mexico, which was a lot of fun. Camp Pendleton out in California. I also was stationed at 29 Palms in California, but a lot of desert life in the Marines. But once again, because my NOS, talking to pilots, the only place they can actually, train was in the desert. So they sent me where I needed to be. And Atiana, you gotta know, I put the headshot work in. I actually love this character. She's one of the only ones who can main 2 primaries. I don't know if anybody's played. Yeah, I just walked into that. I didn't want to get shot. I don't know if anybody's played Rogue Company, but there's definitely a lot of more strategy that goes into this than just most, first or third person shooters, because each character has their own strat and play style. Oh, where's he at? Oh my goodness. All right, team. I'm gonna try to get this win. I know we're not. Oh, we lost a team. That's cool. All right, it's actually still kind of even. We might be able to focus up. So let me see. Oh nah. Yeah, that overrun. All right, come on, I gotta strategize. I can play this. These guys aren't even that good. They just know I'm talking to you. They just must know I'm streaming.
We only have 5 reinforcements remaining.
That was a bad play. I meant to throw my grenade. I promise you my grenade was selected. I was backwards. Yo, put it in the chat if you ever had a team that's just quitting on you, yo. I feel like we could have had this W.
Control of the objective. Defend it. Objective lost.
Let's cut our losses and get out of here.
All right, I'm definitely all right, Jazz. I'm gonna look into Valorant. Hold me to it. By the end of the week, I'm gonna have an hour of gameplay. All right, and you're a Kestrel main? Yeah, Kestrel. I think she just rubbed me wrong when she came out, and I just haven't used her to to probably the extent I needed to. And hold on, it's we have one in the chat. If you can get this work in the chat. Oh, okay. We calling out people who aren't in the chat yet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play that. A few people talking about it. What's up, Quid Deer? 13. What's up? Hello. So for anyone who's just joining, once again, this is Community. My name is Julian Fitzgerald. I really just go by Julian, not make it so formal. But this is Giving Tuesday. We're really here to help, once again, increase diversity and equity within the gaming ecosystem. And so feel free to support, definitely, chime in with any of your personal experiences. But thank you for joining us today. Yeah, it's the night by the same. We're on our road to $3 million to really be able to do what we want to do. That's the number we understand is needed. So, of course, to be able to have facilities and labs and all the communities that we are, that's the first major milestone, if you will. So definitely, if you feel led, feel free to hit the exclamation point donate or donate exclamation point. Click on that link and you'll be navigated over to our Ko-fi page. But yeah, each donation, the notification will pop up. So feel free, and I'll make sure that to shout them out as well. We got a big goal, but we also have a big problem to tackle. So love for anyone who's supporting. Thank you so far.
Strikeout.
If anybody ever wants to catch the smoking road, we can always do that as well. So let me know. I'll drop that in the chat if you. No, I'm just joking. I also love playing squad, so we can always do that. I'm gonna play Vi. Actually, this map I probably shouldn't. Probably go the same. Yeah, we're gonna keep it the same. We're gonna go runway one more time. Hey, shout out to You Can Get This Work. All right, Jazz, come on with it. I'm loving it. And You Can Get This Work. I need receipts because I'm seeing Cap in the chat, and so hold on, let me check it. I need receipt. We got a little bit of a haggler. Now, shout out to our day one, Supreme Sensei. Shout out. You Can Get This Work. Shout out. K Dot. Shout out. We also got some new day ones, if that makes sense. We got Atiana in the chat. Big shout out. Since this is going to be a long range battle, I probably want to.
Enemy spotted. Weapons hot.
Yeah, Superstar. Yeah, we definitely play a lot of 2K. Once again, we prioritize the games that are familiar to our community. Console play is definitely more prominent in underserved communities. But yeah, we play, cross-platform, Rogue Company. We're gonna get into Valorant ourselves, but a little bit of everything so far. Let's see, can I get this? I wish I had my grenade. Oh, I had to reload. I was so dumb. Okay. Oh, is my teammate here for me? Ah, he could have came to me. Yeah, but Superstar 2K is one of our NBA 2K, or excuse me, one of our HBCU esports games, and so definitely one of our more prominent titles.
Help me out. Enemy spotted.
That's what you get. That's what you get.
Control of the objective. Capture it. Objective acquired.
Enemy spotted.
I'm curious to hear how did everybody get started gaming? Yo? I mean, gaming touches so many different people, so many different backgrounds. I know for me, my earliest experiences was like Sega Dreamcast back when Sega was making consoles. But like, what was everyone else's introduction? I love to hear it. Yeah, I've been playing since then, yo. Sonic, you name it. I think I was probably the most lit when I got a GameCube. What are you doing, Brody? Bless you.
Let's see how they
Bless
handle this.
You only get two. I'm just joking.
Enemy now.
Out of reinforcements. Finish the job. Enemies have been
Let's
wiped
go,
out.
team.
First round
All right, so we got a better squad on this one, guys. I feel better. Feel better about this one, chat. Yeah, the DS. Oh man, what a good memory, yo. Thank you for even mentioning that. Yo, the Game Boy SP. I actually had the SP, yo. That was like the little mini DS. But yeah, I put so many hours of Pokemon in on the Game Boy SP. Didn't make any sense, yo. Yeah, the DS is a good time. That was a good time in gaming. Yeah, N64, yo. Actually, I think I might have. See, I think I take it back. That might have been my first experience. My first console I owned was a Sega Genesis or Dreamcast. But yeah, I think that Nintendo 64 was my first actual time touching a controller. Or maybe it's sooner, or maybe it's earlier. I mean, Nintendo Entertainment System. Actually, who knows where I started, guys? It's been so long. Let's get this. Somebody said age is showing. Hold on, man. How does that? Never thought that's something I had to consider. Yeah, when you say back when they were making consoles, you're like, Sega doesn't make consoles. Sega barely makes games. Has anybody played the new Sonic? I'm not sure if anybody's seen, but Sonic is now an open world game. I'm like loving that concept. I need to download it. Somebody say grandpa. All right, Sensei. I got the energy. I can match you. That just means I'm seasoned. You understand?
Enemy now.
Enemies have
Yeah, this is
5
too
lives
easy.
left. Keep up the pressure.
Anyone need to freshen up?
Need some competition in here, y'all. I want to give y'all some good gameplay.
Utility out.
Deploying lethal.
Hey, help me out. Enemy spotted.
Let me just see if I can get killed here. Oh no, I'm way behind.
Have you heard about the ammunition?
Enemies are
Come on, why would you shoot a shotgun that far away, yo? You just ruined my headshot.
Let's see how they handle this.
Yo, what the revive at? He just ran past. Okay, see, that's called bad teamwork. Honestly, didn't even need the vest.
Enemies have been wiped out. Nicely done.
Yo, she cooking me in the chat while I'm playing.
Close is
He said,
contract
seasoned
out.
with the pepper that's been in the pantry since 1923. Not the 100 years. Not the 100-year-old pepper. That just made me one of a kind, baby. You can't get this anywhere else. You understand me? I love it. I love it. That's what we really should do. And I mean, we gotta be careful about that. But I used to do like a good roast session in the party, in the Xbox party. But yeah, doing that in the chat, I think will probably take a turn. All the same. Oh man, okay, you can get this working here too. All right, see, it's already started.
Required. Defend it.
And having a desk job is not a bad thing, because otherwise, you know what I'm saying, they just put you on the front lines, you know. And while I love my brothers,
Help me up.
that ain't the place to be always. He said you can have a desk job. If Gaming Community Code got $1 million donated today, what would be the first thing you do with it? Ooh. That's a great question. First thing we would do with it is once I mean, this sounds like a boring answer, but we're gonna make sure we take stock of exactly what the problem is. But we have a number of different communities that we're already in
You've lost the
that
objective.
it's layers deep. You know, we were providing the programming, but they can't get to the programming, or we're providing the scholarships, but they can't afford the school. And so for us, we're looking at being a holistic solution to our community's problems. And so identifying each one of those, if you will, peripheral problems is going to be something that we want to be intentional around. But once again, really just looking at within the different regions we're in. If education is the component you need, great. If it's another piece, even better. So all the same, we would double down where we are and really make sure that while we're providing education content currently, we're able to provide all the other resources needed to engage in that content in a meaningful way. And so removing all the hurdles is the short answer to that wonderful question. Oh, I missed the headshot. I'm missing like 7 headshots. Come on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm over here in their spawn. This is not even fair.
Help me up.
Yo, we got some OGs once again in the chat. OG K Dot, one of the day ones in the chat. Shout out to K Dot. Someone who's really lived the journey that we're really once again, focused on providing. Actually, let me use K Dot as a real example, yo. So shout out to K Dot again, as you all can see, he's in the chat. But this is someone who once again was just a spectator in the chat 2 years ago. Mentioned, hey, I'm a student. I just graduated, or will be graduating. I want to say it was early on. But asked, hey, what can I do? Do you guys offer internships? I want to get involved. And we love that. Here at Community, we love to be able to provide opportunities, share opportunities, create opportunities for those in the
Nice work,
space.
team. Checks in the
Victory,
mail.
another one in the bag. For 2 years, down the line, really a year and a half, we found, different touch points to provide value to individuals like K-Dot so that he's able to, once again, add value to his own portfolio that he's meaning to build. And so now looking at where we are, he's on the team. He's actually someone who engaged with us consistently, also built up his awareness. He stayed the course. He streamed and built his own platform as a creator as well. And so really just being able to share, that as a real example of someone who is exactly the beneficiary we're looking to really help and provide, resources to. Big shout out to him for staying the course as well. And once again, engaging with us. That's our whole goal. So for anybody else who, kind of wants to follow that same process, maybe send them a quick whisper on Twitch, or, ping me as well. But that's exactly what we would look to do, is provide more opportunities. If it's not internal to our company, we have dozens and dozens of other organizations that are looking for, let's just call it talent. They're looking for people who are willing to learn, even if you don't have every single thing. And I'll actually mention some of those partners. I think it'll be great opportunity to even highlight those who do want to provide opportunities to people who maybe look like me, but others who once again maybe who don't look like me. And so, first one I'm thinking of is shout out to Version One Rocker out of Minnesota. So that's once again Minnesota-based esports org. Version One is actually one of the leaders in the space, in my opinion, in regards to really putting their money where their mouth is, identifying opportunities and ways to really engage the underserved community. And so we partnered now with them for the second year in a row to provide 5 different students with scholarships. Actually, if you're a student in the chat, tune into our website. The scholarship is still live. It's essay based, but then also, a prize pool for a gaming tournament. But the big piece that Version One does well is actually providing game day roles for students to build their portfolios and their resumes up, so they can qualify for these larger roles and opportunities at maybe the same company for full time, or even the big guys. And so, like a tangible example, when they have a big event, they'll hire, a moderator or maybe a video editor who doesn't have any experience, but they'll give them the training to get that experience in that, 1 or 2 days that they need that team member's help. So it's great to have people like Version One in the space who understand communities like ours don't have the means to actually build our portfolio without platforms like Version One to give us the means. And so huge shout out to them.
Enemy
Others that are once again leading in regards to just putting their money where their mouth is, I say Riot Games. We all may have heard of Riot Games in one way or another, and most of us might have played some of their actual titles, but all the same, Riot's been huge and instrumental in being able to really provide our students with the opportunity of an even playing field. So in 2020, they started the immersion program, opened that up to specifically HBCU students, which was unheard of, seeing how they get, I want to say, close to 10 to 12,000 applicants for their internships annually, and they held 10 spots specifically for HBCU students. And so that was awesome. Once again, being able to provide access, providing that equity that is needed. And then once again, also the ongoing touch points from reviewing resumes, helping people with their interviewing pitches, or maybe even like elevator pitches. And so, partners like those are those who we look to once again continue to stay at the hip with, but then also help others identify ways to engage. And so, big shout out to Epic, I think there's a few others I could mention as well, but to the current partners in the space. Let me see, I might mute my chat. I just realized real companies here in all of this as well.
Somebody help me up!
But my teammates are like sick of that. So all the same, yeah, big shout out to our existing partners. I definitely don't want to miss anybody, so I'll try to think about them as I'm playing. We mentioned 2K as well.
We only have 5 reinforcements.
In regards to one of the major titles we're playing, and that's also an organization that we've also been able to partner with and provide some of their interns, training. And so that was actually a great opportunity. Myself and a team member got to go all the way out to San Francisco, really Nevada, California, to the 2K headquarters and train some of their interns, and really, in my opinion, some of their staff on both key concepts as well as the barriers in the space to underserved communities, so that way they have that understanding and insight as they enter their own professional careers within the space. And so that was super cool. Shout out to 2K to really opening their doors and really making sure that our problem was also perceived and understood by their potential and existing talent. Other great organizations really to speak to, some early partnerships that we're definitely excited about, and some even partnerships that are still ongoing include some of our charter schools. Once again, I mentioned focus is providing equity and access, and so a lot of that includes programming, education, skill building, enrichment opportunities to even first build awareness around the jobs and the roles in the space, but then also to, be able to compete for those jobs. And so we have a number of charter schools that we've intentionally partnered with to really make sure we're starting at the beginning of that pipeline, so that you're not hearing about this for the first time in college or maybe even post college like we did. And so big shout out to the charter schools so far. I went to KIP Charter School here in Atlanta, major organization. A couple of others, Best Academy is another one that we've also got a chance to be able to deploy our esports readiness program in. And let me see, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody here in Atlanta. Yeah, and alongside the charter schools, we've also been able to, once again provide our esports readiness programming to a number of student organizations, to include the Boys and Girls Club. And so that's been an ongoing partnership that we've been able to really provide insight and understanding to students from, once again, underserved communities. And so this is actually it's taking place and going on right now in Philadelphia, going to different Boys and Girls Clubs, students from underserved communities, and first off exposing them to this space. And so our esports ratings program was actually birthed in 2020, and that was one of the first places we were actually able to go and show up in person and share more opportunities around how to engage in the space, the skills needed, leaders to connect with. And so big shout out to Boys and Girls Club in regards to them providing just a platform and opportunities to their students. But alongside them, others who have also been engaged are organizations all over the country. Like I mentioned, we've are focused on HBCU development, and so that also includes the feeder school systems that include HBCUs. And so that's everywhere from here to Texas, here to the DMV area. And so it's been great so far. And to even highlight and emphasize what the esports readiness program is, I'll go into that a little bit just to give everybody a little bit of more of an understanding. Our esports readiness program is our approach to first exposing the different roles in the space to underserved communities, and then building the awareness to then compete for those roles by providing access to industry leaders, industry leading organizations and resources, and then also actual real world opportunities to build understanding. So how you have prac app in school or lab in science. Well, we look to provide that same type of structure to students of all backgrounds and all ages, not just middle school, high school, but even postgraduate individuals, so that they have something to actually add to their portfolio. It's cool to understand how the process works, but it's always better to say that you've engaged in the process. And so our esports readiness program focuses first on providing the awareness of what that process even is, and then of course the depth and knowledge in regards to how to engage. And then we also second to that, provide platforms for individuals to be able to exercise that understanding in a meaningful way. And so that's actually something that we're super excited about. We're going to be growing that effort in the coming year, 2023, giving not just one-off opportunities, but let's call them batch in groups of individuals to develop themselves through an actual experience that they can contribute to in a meaningful way. So super excited about that growth opportunity, but also just very pleased and thankful for what the program has done to date. So that's their esports readiness program. We've had some students who have been able to engage with that and secure internships or engage with that and build their own let's call them businesses, or at least the initial structure of a business as well. So the real time results are happening right in front of us, and we're excited about it. Hey, shout out to the subs. Appreciate all the subscribers to community. Definitely, once again, anybody who does subscribe, that's going to a great place. We're focused on increasing equity, so all that support goes to increasing opportunities, platforms, touch points for students. All right, y'all. Since we're winning, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna see if I can play with the shotgun. That's definitely something that We got to be cautious in and around, but I don't know. I'm feeling it. Let's see how we do.
Objective acquired.
Ah, should have a shot. But I want to hear from y'all again. What are some things that we should be looking to provide? Once again, our program is addressing the exact hurdles of the community that we are serving. So, you know, for those who want to get into gaming, want to get into esports, whether it's on the competitive, whether it's on the industry operations side, what are things that you would need or want to see? What things will be helpful or valuable for your progression? That's where the money is. So feel free to jump in, answer a few of those questions if you have any feedback. Haha, come on, buddy. No, I really do want somebody to answer that question. That would be great. If anybody who has an answer or response. What are some of the hurdles you're facing if you're trying to get into gaming and esports? What are hurdles that you're facing?
Capture the objective.
Utility out.
Trial and error.
Lethal
Yo, rap, that's a good question. So are we pushing for more coding classes at earlier ages? Yes, we haven't necessarily pushed to see, the actual Python coding, but we want students to understand coding concepts as early as possible. So building programs and implementing programs that include, Microsoft Make Code or Scratch have been some things that we have done. So actually, to mention some of those partners, we partnered with Games for Change and taught students game design concepts with a platform called Scratch. And students can actually learn how to code, by also building, a game of their own using block code. So it's not traditional Python, but it definitely does give them that framework or structure.
Thanks, man.
This team got body.
brutal.
All right, it's probably gonna be my last round because I want to let my team member join in. So we're gonna play a different game, and we're also gonna talk about a few different pieces. Let me see.
That's one
All
way
right,
to
cool.
do it.
One more round. It's gonna be easy W.
Last round. End strong.
Brutal.
Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. I know Texas Instruments, they have a number of different touch points, platforms that they're using to really, increase the opportunities in education. So it's cool to hear about their innovation lab as well. Have a big budget, man. Texas Instruments is huge. Ah, dang, good throw. That was a good grenade. Yeah, but let me continue to shout out some of our existing partners. I think that's going to be something, once again, just the ways that we're interacting with them have been great. Let me see. I might have gotten them all. I don't want to hyper beat the point.
Objective secured.
Wait, he just shoot my. Come on. Oh, I just did that to myself.
I didn't know this was a rescue mission.
Thanks, man.
Affirmative.
Ah,
This is what I do. Defending here. Medic down.
Enemies have the objective.
so to make sure I don't miss anybody, I'll still do a formal shout out to our partners, but stay tuned for that piece. I'll do that closer to the end of the stream today. Oh, seriously, if anybody has any responses to things they really want to see or need to see, or, to help themselves get into the gaming space, esports ecosystem, drop those in the chat. Always curious to hear about that. All right, hold on. We gotta win this game, man. I can't. Our team cannot just slack.
We have 5 lives left.
The miracle of inductive charging.
Lethal out.
The miracle of inductive charging.
Come on, where's the team? We gonna get it.
Utility out.
Ah, somebody come grab me. No, I'm not. They didn't grab me. All right, I gotta switch away from the shotgun. That's gonna cost us the win. Trying to use the shotgun. Oh, get out of there.
All that's left. No more reinforcements available.
All right.
Help me out. Enemy go here.
Hold on, y'all. We can't just get scared now. What's going on, team? I blame myself. I'm not even using all my gadgets.
Power draw
Oh,
protocol.
that was a bad throw.
Execute.
Super bad throw.
Power draw protocol. Execute.
My man literally hiding in the corner. All right, cool. Dub in the bag. Let's get it.
Nice work, team.
Let's go.
Checks in the mail.
Bet. Tell one how to carry the team properly. Hey, no doubt. Carry it properly. We had one less team member. Let's do it. Bet. All right, let me pause this. We're gonna see. We're gonna switch games up real quick, y'all. All right, cool. All right, cool. Don't go nowhere, y'all. 1 second. We're gonna take a quick break. 1 second.
And in the Ponca City Blackwell area, 68 degrees today. Winds southerly at about 15 with gusts of 25 miles an hour. Barometric pressure 30.00 and is rising. and no precipitation. We're about a half inch behind, correction, half inch ahead for the year, and 1 53/100ths behind for the year so far. We'll be looking for a little bit of a change tomorrow, and of course the possibility of some scattered showers. Today, of course, there's nothing showing up on the radar. However, the satellite photo was pretty interesting for the western half of the U.S. Rain showers and thunder showers along that frontal system, and that wide band of fairly heavy snows. Now, what will happen each time that you see the frontal system on there? That begins at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you'll see the cloud pattern move until 2 o'clock this afternoon. So as of that time, of course, the front was way off in the northwest. Now, however, it's moving into the central part of the nation with a couple of high-pressure cells behind it. And a few pockets of low pressure and a fairly heavy band of rain showers and snow all the way from the eastern portions of Montana down to western sections of Nevada. And of course the massive high picking up warm moist air from the south, bringing it northward. So when the two masses collide over Kansas, we are looking for some precipitation, and we'll talk about that.
Hey, young world, it's your lifestyle specialist, Kenny Buck.
All right, and we're back. Let me go ahead and pause this music. But yeah, let me see, and we're gonna change it up. All right, cool. We're back. So first, let me introduce my team member. I'll let her introduce herself, and then we'll jump into it.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Justice Miranda. I am Director of Operations for Gaming Community Co. So just a little bit of background about me. I am not so visual on as far as streaming, but you will see me in probably all of our highlight videos. So my background is in operations. I have a dual degree from Clark Atlanta University. Shout out to the illustrious. So I know that we got people in the chat. You know, we can all shout out our HBCUs right now if you would like to, because, you know, the HBCU culture is here and alive. But yes, graduate of Clark Atlanta University, dual degree in management and supply chain management. If people don't know what supply chain is, it's just all the logistics behind a company. That could be from like packaging and storing for a lot of companies like Amazon, or it could be like what I do for Gaming Community Co., which is operations and background project management and logistics for what we do. So I would say that I am kind of like the testament to what Gaming Community Co. is. Because I would say that I'm not a gamer, but I just kind of got informed this morning that I kind of am. Because if you put me in Mortal Kombat and if you give me a certain person, I will smash. Like it's over with. So that I always will say I'm a bejeweled person. You know, I'm always on the good old mobile gaming, but I love to do everything within operations, and I love to give students and people the opportunity to know that you can make your passion your profit. So I am the true example of that as far as operations. A lot of people don't even think about that as a part of the gaming industry, that there are so many different pillars to how you can get into this industry. And I am one of those. Not fully a gamer, but also working in the gaming industry. So I'm going to look at the chat really quick. Okay, yes. Shout out to CAU. Yes, Morehouse. Okay, AUC, I see you 100%. Yes, Bejeweled Players Matter. Hashtag, okay? Bejeweled Players Matter.
Love it.
But yeah, that's a little bit of background about me. I actually started my first company back in 2019, which I sold to Comcast. Shout out to Comcast The Farm, which is actually here in Atlanta at the Battery. And shout out to all of the people that are there, Ricky, Berenda, all of you guys. Thank you so much for not just buying my business, but also encouraging me and believing in me. But I started by giving students opportunities to get into spaces that they really see that their passion is for. So a lot of people will go into things while you're either in college or while you're searching for a job. You might be working at Starbucks or like Chick-fil-A while you're in college, going into a certain type of career. So my whole passion and goal is to help students or people in general be able to get into the field that they want to get into a lot earlier than they were planning on getting into it. So instead of you working at Starbucks right now, for example, you can get a version 1 Rocker scholarship or internship to say, hey, I'm working with this company because it's actually leading towards what I want to go to. So that's just a perfect example of what I'm about. And I love community, and especially Julian for everything that he has taught me as far as like the nonprofit sector and how to make sure that we are bridging this digital literacy and digital divide gap that we have within our underserved communities. So when I say my passion equals my profit, that's where I'm saying like, hey, it could be in any realm, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're doing it as far as gaming and esports, which for me, I'm like, this is where we're capturing a lot of the students at ground level. My brother plays games every day. And if you really think about it, even just as far as the statistics, it's like $174 billion industry that we're only 2% of. Let's go ahead and create more opportunities and make sure that that percentage actually gets larger for us as individuals. So as much as I can do that, that's what I'm here to do. So you'll see me in a lot of our highlight videos because everything from the ground up and in the backgrounds, that is what I'm trying to do and make sure that we make it shake.
I love it. I actually personally like learned something just now, even still, you even making sure that you making your passion, your profit, exact, kind of comparison or way to do that for everyone else. So yeah, glad to have you on the team as well. Super excited. We've gotten a lot done. It's been a fast ride, but
very fast.
Yeah, what we're gonna start with today. I know we're gonna play a few games, but I know we want to show the people some things. So where we want to start?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I've been on the team for a little over a year now. So before I got on the team, I want to highlight a couple things that you all did before I even got involved.
Okay,
So
yeah.
maybe we could take it from the tech for COVID. I feel like that was kind of like the launch off to doing what we needed to do.
Yep.
And then especially within the pandemic, a lot of us realized like, oh my gosh, it's not just the fact that our students aren't involved in this industry, but it's the fact that they don't have the network. They don't have the resources. They don't have even the hardware or software to be able to be competitive in these spaces. So I know you all did this event when I wasn't even thought of to be working with community. So I say, hey, let's shout out the events that we did.
Sweet. All right, cool. Let me pull that up. Dope.
I'm going to steal that. Hashtag digital players matter.
Cool.
Mobile games matter.
Oh, appreciate the shout outs on my sweater. Let me pull this.
Man, we're not going to talk about your sweater.
You got a cool one too. You got a cool
I
one.
mean, I got a cool sweater.
Yeah, shout out to Twitch. We went to TwitchCon and got some merch. Hey, Denise, help me out real quick. Yeah, thank you. All right, smooth. So let's start this video. It's a great place to start.
Hey, young world, it's your lifestyle specialist, Kenny Burns, and I am a product of an HBCU. Yes, in 1992, I got a call from my cousin who was attending Morehouse College, and he said, Kenny, you gotta come to Freaknik.
And I'll talk over this because I know
What's the Freaknik?
there's going to be a number of
It's like the
videos that
biggest
play.
black college experience.
Yeah, this was
ever.
early on. This
Gotta
was tech
come.
for
I
COVID.
made
Once
my way
again, when
down to
COVID
Atlanta,
hit, distance
Georgia,
learning
drove
became
10
a
hours from
mandate
Washington,
requirement.
DC. When
But
I
there are
arrived,
many students
I saw so
from
many
many
people
backgrounds
just
who
like
couldn't
me and
afford
inspired me
to
on another
actually
level.
be,
I quickly enrolled in
an
Morris
actual
Brown
learner,
College
distance learner.
that
So
fall.
the
I also
the requirement to
tipped my
have
hat into
laptops
the,
was something that we were super
promoting
passionate
arena,
to
becoming the
focus
number
on being
one,
able to provide. So
party
if you
source
look,
on
we actually had a
campus
number
in
of different
2620.
influencers
I
engaged
then
with this.
got the attention
This is one of the
Dallas
individuals,
Austin,
Kenny
brother
Burns.
Claude Austin and
But
Dave Gates, who gave me an
yeah,
opportunity
big shout out to
to
Kenny
come
Burns,
into the
lifestyle
music
specialist,
business and
comedian,
promote
if you will.
Monica. Went on to sell
This
2
event
million
itself,
records with their
we
debut album,
actually
Miss Thing. I
raised
also aligned myself
$118,000
with
for students
DJ Clark Kent,
who didn't have a laptop.
super
So
picky with how I
once
write.
again,
Of
that was
course I want
something
it to be
that was
perfect,
huge.
But like always, I use Grammarly.
I want to say, actually, I mentioned it before. I definitely did, but to even emphasize that one of the students was a valedictorian at his school, but was forced to share a laptop with his siblings and actually his parents when everyone was forced indoors. And so that fundraiser, the Tech for COVID itself, we actually gave him a computer. He was able to maintain his status. I think actually it was salutatory, and so he came second in the school, but a senior, pivotal time in his educational career. So, Tech for COVID that's a real example of what that event actually led up to, providing laptops for distance learning. It was huge as well. We were asked, how big is digital literacy? Why is it important? And then COVID hit, and then it became immediately transparent and clear around what that actually means and why it's important. So that was a great way to kick off our organization, our fundraiser. I think we provided over 136 laptops to date, and so that was huge for us as well. So I'll go into this next one here. As I mentioned, once again, some of the things that we have done. And this next one here is actually talking about some of our esports labs. So we did it vlog style, very cool. We actually got a chance to go to Coppin State and a few different other universities, but this one's mainly Coppin. And I'll let you all watch here, but it was great to be able to bring them the infrastructure they needed to be able to engage in esports. So yeah, let's just kind of skip ahead. Let's see.
Lauren told me I had one rule for this trip.
And this is all live content. So please go to our YouTube, same at Community Cxmmunity, and you'll be able to see all of the things that we've done over the past few years and how we have impacted. From things like this, where it is vlog style, to sizzles of just things that we did that are just quick recaps. So I want to highlight the fact that Coppin State was one of our first HBCU labs. So this is very big for us to say, hey, this is where we started, and then eventually we will talk about where we ended up over this past year. So
Yeah. And once again, if anybody here is from the HBCU, shout out to your school. If you got family members from HBCUs or relatives, friends, shout them out. That's definitely a huge part of our community, integral part of our community. So once again, want to show their support.
And you'll see even in this video, like this is right in the middle of COVID. So like as you see, Chris has his mask on, but that's what all of this was about. It's like we started all of this, or they started all of this, and it was like, hey, so much more is needed just based off of not just infrastructure, but also the background knowledge of what we need to do to get it.
We're gonna head over to Coppin State to start.
This was an amazing way to get everything started. A lot of people, it depends on the business. A lot of people are like, COVID really helped me, or COVID really hurt me. And I think that for the community, COVID really helped us to say, hey, this is where we need to
20 years of my life. 21 years of my life.
Absolutely.
Probably 22
years. So let's show you all some of the finish results as we get directly into this. So, once again, for those who don't know, Coppin is one of the one of the HBCUs, one of the first universities in our HBCU Esports League in 2020. So giving them the even playing field to be able to compete, getting the students out of their dorm rooms was huge.
I'm not gonna lie, it is way bigger than I ever anticipated.
And even seeing where all of this starts, like you see the boxes being unpacked, you see cores being plugged in, like we literally are doing this from the ground up. It's not a makeshift situation where, hey, it's already there. It's dependent on the school. So if you want an esports lab to come to your school, please drop that in the chat as well. Hey, we need one. Hey, I need a place to game. My Wi-Fi isn't really working in my dorm. That is literally what we're here for. But as you see, it takes this process. It's not just an immediate setup. We need the space. We need advisors that are at that school that genuinely believe in this mission to actually make sure that it happens. But we also need the students that are really involved and engaged to make sure that this continues, that the legacy continues, and that more students get involved and know that there are opportunities and networks in this space.
Yeah, big time. I mean, you mentioned the word student and one popped up, but that's exactly what we look to do. We follow the engagement. We leverage that engagement to really merit, larger support and buy-in from stakeholders. So, you all telling us exactly what the needs are of the community is, once again, exactly what we need. Super. But as you can see, Coppin State was super excited about the esports lab. They were playing before the boxes were put away. As you can tell, plenty of diversity in this program as well. We made sure to always, be vocal around, ways to also include different students, different backgrounds. Some individuals are coming from sports programs, some individuals are coming from computer science programs, but giving them all a room, literally a room, but room to also just be themselves is one of our key components. And really we're excited about this being one of the first ones, but we'll talk about a few more that are actually coming up right behind it. So let me actually skip to the next one. Very cool, very cool. So once again, we've done a lot of stuff. So some of this is like catching us up. So alongside of the esports lab build outs, once again, we've done about 5 or 6 to date at a few different universities: Texas Southern, Howard University, a few more are still in development, Dillard Universities. Yep, and Morgan State we completed, as well as Delaware State. And so those are some of the universities. North Carolina University, Coppin, as you saw, but alongside the build outs, and Oakwood, can't forget Oakwood, but alongside the build outs, we were also on campus with our students. And so as you can see, we're traveling up to the DMV area. We actually got a great opportunity to partner with Corday, a music artist, and Coca-Cola, to basically go out and help, engage, different students from different backgrounds game on campus. So some of the students got to play against Corday in like a actual, I want to say it was 2K because Madden was a little too long, but it might have been Madden, but Madden or 2K tournament, super fun, super engaging. As you can see, we also got a chance to once again just be in the community, visiting different partners. DTLR was an early sponsor, but they also are super focused on bringing, value and opportunities to underserved communities. So big shout out to them. But, once again, we got a chance to make a few stops. So we went to, Howard University. We went to Morgan. There's maybe 2 or 3 other stops as well that I know I'm just, probably forgetting. But, just kind of look and learn. This is actually pretty cool. We got a chance to, basically, give Corday kind of an escort throughout the campus. Once again, he was there to really talk to students about really operating at the next level, at a high level, and really just being focused on the vision of their actual goals. And so right here, we were engaging students, giving them some gift cards to really make sure they understood, hey, there are people in the community that want to see them be successful. And so we were just doing a simple pool tournament. Whoever won got the gift card. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. So like I mentioned before, huge shout out to version 1. We love version 1 rocker. Esports org out of Minnesota. Once again, they put their money where their mouth is. They know what the industry looks like. They understand, there are different challenges and hurdles to everyone engaging in this space in an equitable way. And so early on, they provided scholarships and development opportunities, and I'm really excited about the development opportunities to HBCU students. And so 2021, 5 different students earned a $5,000 scholarship to continue exactly what they're doing, just getting an education, pursuing their own academic and career goals. And we also rounded it off with this rocker rally. There was a Call of Duty tournament. I want to say this was Vanguard, but don't quote me. It might have been Cold War. Might be Cold War. That's what it looks like. And it was just a simple COD tournament. Good sized prize pool for the team that won. I want to say JCSU won this one, so shout out to them. If they didn't, I'm pretty sure I'll get corrected before the end of this plays. But yeah, that was a big one. And the development opportunity I want to mention, and feel free to jump in regards to what you feel like is probably one of the most valuable pieces. But version 1 understood in many underserved communities, you don't have those touch points, you don't have the relationships. Like we mentioned before, you don't have the infrastructure to engage in a meaningful way. So that by the time you're graduating college or looking for a job in college, you're competitive based on your experiences and your value that you offer. So version 1 is one of the leaders in the space by offering opportunities to individuals with zero experience to get experience. Like it shouldn't be this hard, but we love the fact that they've been able to really just say, hey, when we ramp up, we know we'll need the help anyway. Let's give someone else an opportunity to learn a key skills, critical parts of the process of the industry. So for me, that's huge. Some of the students who have already gotten a chance to engage as a video editor or chat moderator have been able to re-engage in like a formal internship. And so as you saw, the students who won, that was huge. They once again are very, very excited. But the team at version 1 is super intentional, and so we're just excited to partner with them as well.
And this is something that is still continuing.
Yeah.
So we still have the version 1 Rocker Scholarship that's open to students currently right now. Please go to our job board. If you go to Cxmmunity.co, the website, you can see our job board that has scholarships, internships, and different types of opportunities for that. So even aside from that, we will be doing also another rocker tournament. So super excited to see where that'll go. And I am going to actually... So I'm pausing because this is where I came in.
Very
So,
good.
Want to give a little bit of background. Like I said, I started about over a year and some change ago. But when I started with the company, we did something in the top of the year in January called Games for Change. And so Julian touched on it a little bit about how we partnered with Games for Change. Somebody even asked in the chat, like, what do we think about giving students at a younger age the opportunity and the resources to be able to learn gaming, coding, and things like that? So Julian had hit on it of the fact that we were giving students the opportunity to utilize Scratch as their game building platform. You can drop in the chat if you've used Scratch before. That's kind of like the bare minimum before you get into, the Unreal Engines and Unities of the world. So want a super big shout out to Games for Change. That alone came with a $10,000 grant to a student. And that went directly to the student. So it wasn't like, and these are young kids as well. So the age demographic was between 6th and 8th grade. And so these students were getting $10,000 checks that were being sent straight to them. So even think about that in 6th to 8th grade, imagine you getting a $10,000 check. It's like a little unreal, but because, hashtag unreal. But because of the opportunities and because of the space that we were creating for them, what we did with Games for Change is they gave specific action items and key points to what these students need to be creating their games off of. So we did a game or a game challenge that was specifically around ecosystem. We're talking about trash and recycling. We're talking about ensuring that the students are engaged in making sure that we aren't polluting our world. Like, what does that look like as far as climate change? We also did a voters registration one. What does voter suppression look like? Even imagine that in 6th to 8th grade of learning about what is voter suppression. I didn't even know what voter suppression was until I started voting, which was at 18, which that actually was my first time voting, and that was the Barack Obama voting. So it was so cool. But imagine that as a young kid seeing, oh my gosh, there really is something called voter suppression. How can I go ahead and kind of tap into that now to make sure that once I get of age to vote, those same things won't be happening? So they were talking about how students or people will be standing in line and you can't give out water, but you might be standing in line for hours. So what happens? So they created games to make sure that these things were actually met and talked about before it even got to the age of where they would probably be having to deal with it. So Games for Change, super shout out to them of being able to give the students these opportunities, because they teach them Scratch, they teach them about real world opportunities, but then they also are providing them with the resources as far as cash and grants to be able to get the technology that they need as well. So wanted to make sure that we shouted out at the beginning of 2022, we partnered with Games for Change and gave students the opportunity to build their own games. These were young kids getting $10,000.
Yeah, and I remember one of the individuals said, "Hey, I know we're going to learn how to build a game, but I don't know how to do that." And almost as if that I won't be able to join today. And so by the end of the program, this individual had a game that others could play, and this young lady was super excited.
Yes.
So the real world use cases of being able to build that buy-in awareness is you're getting a chance to hear about it, but real super excited. And once again, big shout out to Games for Change.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
We even had younger people come on that were even in the 6th to 8th grade range, right? That were in like 3rd grade, that were going past. And I think that's so. Shout out to the person that was in the chat talking about what do we feel about teaching these students at a younger age. That's what it's about. We want to make sure that students, no matter what age you are, there is a space for you to be able to start learning, but also, especially for like parents or people that are tuning in that have kids themselves, don't limit your kid or don't limit your child to say, hey, you're not old enough or you might not understand it. No, let's get them into something like what we were doing with the Esports Readiness Program or Pharaoh's Conclave that actually helps those younger students be able to get that gaming industry experience. So from any age, that's what we want to make sure that you can go ahead and tap into.
Big time. And I noticed we had a few new people come in. I want to, and big shout out to the raid that came in. I did notice that. So let's kind of first take a step back and once again share with everybody who we are, what we're doing today. It's Giving Tuesday, so we're once again want to really acknowledge the work that we've done, but then also look towards what we're still wanting and needing to accomplish in regards to addressing the need in our community. So, funny enough, our organization's name is Cxmmunity, formerly known as Gaming Community Co. We're focused on increasing diversity and equity within the gaming and esports space. And so what we're doing right now is really taking a little bit of a dive down history lane, really to speak around some of the work we've done from esports readiness programs that happened virtually during the height of COVID, like May 2020, laptop computer drives, giving students the ability to continue distance learning, to help them with their academic achievements and pursuits, to then being able to provide an entire esports league for HBCU students who wouldn't otherwise have a way to engage in esports, seeing how there's an entire tech equity gap, but then also an awareness equity gap in regards to the games and the background you need to know to be engaged in formal esports. And so we also, alongside that, providing actual enrichment programs and touch points to increase that awareness. And so once again, for those who are just joining, thank you for joining us. We're, really want to make sure we're emphasizing all the ways that the communities themselves, the viewers, just like you all, can support us by just emphasizing what we've done to date. Once again, we're, raising money for Giving Tuesday. As you see, the Nightbot's going to drop a couple more links in here to really emphasize, all of this work itself is to increase representation in this space. Many of us, almost all of us, I imagine, have some type of gaming experience. And you know that it's $170 billion industry that makes up gaming, and so that's bigger than music, that's bigger than film. Actually, if you combine them, it's still bigger. And so to that point, we all have experiences of gameplay, but it can honestly be said that we definitely do not have that same opportunity to experience in the contribution or like the development of the gameplay. And so, you know, understanding the space is so big and there's a number of different roles, what we've focused on and really just prioritize all our resources to doing is first acknowledging, you know, the hurdles, the gaps in the industry, making sure our community, our stakeholders understand the hurdles, but then also the opportunities of engaging in the space. And then, of course, we're removing those hurdles and barriers together. So I appreciate everyone so far who's already donated. I see we got some first-time chatters in here. So, yeah, vibes to the good good vibes, DJ. I love it. But all the same, we're here to increase the community. I mentioned how big the space was. I want to say 83% of millennial youth play games on a weekly basis, and that's of the diverse community. So, you know, whether it's black, brown, you name it, 83% of us are gaming weekly, but the industry is only made up of about 4% diverse individuals. And so for us, that's the big piece we're looking to tangibly address is how can we, you know, increase the representation, you know, that so that the contributors from the consumer side also resemble the contributors from the development side. So want to give everyone that background. Once again, thank you all for joining us. We're going to be, you know, really emphasizing a few other things that we've done. We're also going to be playing a few games, but really want everyone to join us in understanding the problem and really the opportunity we're all addressing together.
Agreed. Yep. And I think that literally is the perfect segue to something I'm going to go ahead and let the people know.
Mm-hmm.
So Julian was doing this program by himself. So we did a program, and I'm actually going to go ahead and play the video. We did a program and still are. It's continuing on this year. Super excited. But with Philadelphia Boys and Girls Clubs. And Julian literally flew every week to Philadelphia. And he himself taught students about gaming and esports and making sure we did a 9-week program with these students to make sure that they understood the different industry opportunities within the space. And when I say the students were so engaged, a lot of people were saying like these students didn't even come or stay for the Boys and Girls Club until they had this esports readiness program. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about like that digital divide and when we're talking about the students that we're trying to help and what today really is for, it's for situations like this. For us to make sure that we can, and all the way back to the person that was in the chat, make sure that we can give the opportunity, the resources, and the network to students at any age, but making sure that these students that are in underserved communities or the students that are in communities that just do not have the economic resources to be able to give to the community as far as technology. We're talking hardware alone is something, but then there's software. If you'll see, like even in this specific video, a lot of the things that that Julian was having to do, it was having to be on pen and paper. Mm-hmm. Literally, because the PCs or the equipment that we had within the Boys and Girls Club, it was very mediocre, not to be any type of way, but
it couldn't support what we need to teach.
Exactly. And then on top of that, we can't download the games. We can't download the software that's needed. And huge shout out to the fact that because he did this work for a year, it now has created a new esports lab in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
To where at the Boys and Girls Club, now we don't have to worry about that because we gave the students this opportunity. They asked for it back again. But then the students, the parents, and also the staff of the Boys and Girls Club, they vied for this. They were like, we need to get this. We need to get the equipment. We need to make sure that the students have the education, the network, and the learning. So they made sure, hey, this next go round that we do another 9-week program, we will ensure that you have an esports readiness program set up so that the students can actually be on a PC that's work and that's capable. So huge, first and foremost, a huge shout out to the Boys and Girls Club and the fact that they allowed us to do this. But also the fact that now it has increased to us actually bridging that digital divide within the esports lab space. Mm-hmm. But now we also are now teaching teachers in the Boys and Girls Club about how they can teach their students. So that's something that's really big for us as far as the community team is, hey, we can teach students, but who's going to teach the teachers? And also, who's going to teach the parents? Because a lot of our parents are sitting here and they're seeing their kids game on a game, and it's like, boy, get off that game, girl, get off that game. And it's like, no, we need to make sure that they're playing the game, but playing it for an institutional matter, to where it's like, hey, there's more growth opportunities for this. So just want to say huge shout out to Julian for doing this, literally going and flying every week, every Tuesday. He would fly into Philadelphia and back out the same day for 9 weeks straight to make sure that this esports readiness program happened. So want to make sure that that was said.
No, appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to, appreciate it. Appreciate the acknowledgement. But really, as we see, building a bigger table is something we'll consistently repeat. And that's exactly what it is. And so, really making sure that students have the awareness is a big piece. They were actually super surprised. They were like, you're coming from Atlanta every week just to talk to us. Made them feel special, actually, to prioritize. I was like, hey, you'll need to start taking your own accountability if you're serious. And some of them actually started doing that. Reaching back out with updates. And so it's been huge to be able to bring that to a city where, there's definitely so many other barriers to just being successful, or even, finding career growth, career opportunities. Yeah. So this was huge. Once again, we've actually are now in our third iteration of this. This was actually a program that, not this instance, but one of them was actually being broadcasted to other clubs as well. So we were reaching a larger number of students, but yeah, super excited about this opportunity. The partnership with Boys and Girls Club is huge. Shout out to Comcast as well for making sure that this whole thing can actually happen. But this is just one city to start with, and we'll keep it moving. But there's definitely going to be more to come right behind it.
Exactly. I am gonna pause here as well. And so I wanted to, in between this, talk about Creator Dash.
Okay.
So something that we did with DoorDash, in partnership with DoorDash, and that we are very proud of, and the way that I'm going also for everyone's awareness is chronologically. So from the top of the year all the way down to where we are today. So if you're like, hey, what order is this happening in? This is literally from January each month and going on up until now, November, of what we've done and the impact that we've made in these communities. So with Creator Dash, that for us was an opportunity to give our content creators a space where they could not only learn from industry professionals, but then also continue on with their creator journey with the DoorDash professionals. So what we did was we actually did a kind of like a fireside chat with some very well-known content creators to come, K-Dot being one of them, coming and talking to the students and saying, hey, this is how I started my career. And a lot of students will feel like, I have to have 1 million followers before people start listening to me, or I have to be a super hardcore gamer before people start watching my stream. And that wasn't the case. And that's what Creator Dash actually opened up that lane to, was saying, hey, no, you can start from any point. And here are the tips for you to be able to start from that point. Then after that, we did a 2K match with some of our content creators as well, where they then eventually won $5,000. And that led to 5 content creators then being DoorDash content creators. So that is what we are all about, is making sure that these are not just basic skills that we're giving you, but these are transferable to where then you're getting an internship, then you're getting a job, or you're at least in the space where you might not have been before. So I just wanted to make sure that we shouted out DoorDash. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you to all of the DoorDash team, because that was an amazing event that we hope to see coming again in the near future, which then also allowed us to create our content creator portion of community. So super big as far as the content creator space, and everybody will think like, if I am in the gaming space, I have to be in these 3 categories. But those certain categories still need the visibility and the network and the opportunity awareness for them to know, hey, even though I'm this person that might be at this level, I can get to this level if I have the certain resources. So super shout out to DoorDash, and cannot wait for the next iteration. So you guys stay tuned for our next Creator Dash that will be in 2023.
Yeah, for sure. If we have any creators in the chat, I know we asked about, we're different people from HBCUs, but I want to know anybody actually streaming as well, or want to start streaming. Once again, that's exactly what we mentioned. You don't have to be fully engaged or the biggest, but let me know if there's any interest or existing engagement around our creators.
Yeah, and some of those content creators are streaming right now, for example. So we literally, it's been a few months since we did the Creator Dash, but those same individuals are now progressing with us as a community team as well, and leveraging those opportunities. So let's keep bridging this divide as much as possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. So something else that we did, this was actually in partnership with Microsoft and KIP and Garden Grove Park and the foundation. So we went to one of the KIP schools here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we did a week-long summer camp program. So that was 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Essentially probably like what we used to go to as kids, right? Like, hey, mom dropped me off at this thing, or your parents eventually forcing you sometimes probably to go to some of these things. But this hopefully, and not even hopefully, if you go and watch the video, you'll see that these students were then asking their parents, please mom, take me back the next day. We pride ourselves on the fact that we give students opportunities that are free opportunities. So this is something that was free. We gave them breakfast, lunch, and snack throughout the day. All of the education that we gave them was, like I said, for free, but it also was something that they can take home that was tangible for them to say, I created a game. So what you'll see in this video is, and we take it from different steps, right? Like for you just to be in the gaming space, you have to understand what is a game in general. And a lot of our students, especially within the age group that we're teaching, probably don't play a lot of board games to start off with. They're console based. They're sitting here and saying like, I'll play a game, I'll play 2K, I'll play Madden. Okay, well, let me teach you about what a game is in general. So that's what we did. And we taught students about how to build and create and write their own games from scratch. So they built a storyline, they built challenges, they built the characters, and they also built how you win and how you lose within that game. And so you'll see right here that these are students playing each other's games. And then the last day, what we did was we invited the parents to come out and play their kids' games. And so you'll see that in this highlight video of the fact that parents were like, my kid created this, like essentially like from the ground up, but also something that is really engaging and that they actually understood and could then give back to their parents to say, no, these are the rules, these are the challenges, this is how you win, this is how you lose. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing that you're teaching these students from this point, rather than, especially a lot of our parents, like I said, are sitting here like, my kid is on a game, what does that mean? Well, we're teaching your kid how to build a game, and then be able, at the end of the program, we had them pitch their games. So then they were selling their games to us. And as you'll see, they were selling their games to us to say, hey, if I were to go to a Riot or if I were to go to a Virtual Rocker, what would you say to them? And this is how it was being pitched. So wanted to give a huge shout out to Microsoft, first and foremost, for allowing us and funding us with this program and this opportunity, but also to KIP and to Garden Grove Park for allowing us the space and also engaging their students and the parents to say, hey, come and bring your kids to this. So big shout out.
Yeah, huge opportunity for game conceptualization is ultimately takeaway for students on this one. And so while some of them said, hey, I don't ever plan on being a coder or programmer, we once again taught transferable skills, understanding how even the outcomes, the rules of a game all have to be created. That's critical thinking. So students don't even realize the different layers and just lessons they're learning. But this was huge. They were super excited. As you can see, some of them took it a different direction, but that's the big piece. It's different types of games all include the vital components that make up that game, and no matter what, you'll have a different outcome. So yeah, this is just a real great example to see the work and see the change in mindset. And this was great. This was, very, I don't want to say young students, but, students who haven't had this exposure, you can tell in any real meaningful way. So yeah, big shout out to KIP, big shout out to Microsoft on this one as well.
Yes, super awesome. So another pause and how this eventually transferred out to what we did in Sacramento. So when you're talking about exactly like from building a game to this point, and that's what, as far as community, it's about those transferable skills, but also knowing that there's different pillars within the gaming industry. So knowing game design, game development, the concepts, the characters, all of that. Great. Let's teach our students about that. But what about once I'm actually in my field already? What about once I've graduated high school, graduated college, or I'm getting my MBA or whatever the case may be? I'm really already focused on UI, UX. I'm already focused on operations. I'm already focused on marketing. So that's actually what we did with 2K. So we went to Sacramento. We went to Nevada. And with those students, these were actually already college students. So they either were in their undergrad or in their graduate programs all around the country. And I shouldn't actually even say all around the country, all around the world, because we had people Zoom in from China. as well for that. So students from all around the world were chosen to be a part of the 2K internship. I want to say it was about 25 students, all of them being from different fields that they were already pursuing themselves. So some marketing, like I said, some UI UX, some were in operations, some were in literally budget and finance as well.
Yeah.
So what we did with those students is we paired them up into groups that each group contained one of some type of pillar or subject. So we had each group would have a marketer, a UI UX designer, an operations person, and a finance or legal person. So each of these groups then created their own events that 2K could take and be able to utilize them literally tomorrow. And when you see like the differentiation and the progress from, you know, things like what we just showed as far as KIP to the 2K internship, it's like, oh my gosh. These students literally, when I say created things that I wanted to take right then and implement tomorrow, I was like, this is amazing. So the events or the activations that they created were something, first and foremost, we said they needed to be engaging for the 2K community. So what does that mean? So they pulled in different things. And when we're talking about 2K, a lot of people will be like, oh, NBA 2K. No, they're still PGA. They're still WWE. They're still, you know, so all of these forms is what we're saying 2K in general. And so also taking it outside of what everybody just knows immediately, let's make sure that we are building the 2K brand in general. So they created those engaging events. They created run of shows for the day that would be implemented for that activation. They created the budget and the finances for what it would take, how much money it would take, how they would get those sponsorships or donors to actually come in and partner for that. And then they also created a story for why those events should be where they are. So some people did events in Atlanta. Some people did events in LA. Some people did events in Houston. And it was intentional because they said that this is the demographic that needs this, or this is the demographic that engages with this 2K game the most. So just want to give the fact that, hey, yeah, we work with young kids and we teach them, you know, the basics of gaming, but then also once you are already in your career, we teach you how to make sure that gaming is a part of that career as well. And like I just named, all of those pillars are pillars that are needed in any industry, from marketing to finance to legal, like all of that. It just shows that 2K is one of those partners where it's like, we need all of this. So let's teach you about our brand so that you can bring your passion to make your profit.
Yeah, big shout out to them as well. A lot of lessons they got learned. And I want to say they had 30,000 applicants for their internship program. So it's super competitive, but also great to be able to provide that type of insight to basically the next wave of you know, the team at 2K. So that was big.
It was awesome. Awesome.
So let's keep the ball rolling. Once again, everybody, I see somebody jumping in the chat. What's up, Molly? Molly been whooping. I love that name. Once again, we're really emphasizing the work that community has done in the last, 2-3 years. It's been a very fast 3 years. It's Giving Tuesday. Once again, we want to make sure we have the ability and give everyone else the ability to support us as well. And so feel free to definitely, hit donate ! The Nightbot will come in and share a little bit more around the actual cause we're really raising money around. But yeah, let's keep showing you all some of the work itself. This is exciting. This actually took place this summer. I'm not sure if many of you have heard of the Essence Festival, but if you think about Essence Magazine, same brand. They have an in-person event once a year in New Orleans. I want to say it attracts 300, 400,000 people. And those are on the small years. I want to say at the most it's probably closer to 500 to 600. But all the same, the event was really focused on being able to engage, families from different backgrounds. And so our organization got a chance to really come in and provide a gaming experience so that stakeholders, parents, students could all understand both our mission, but also largely the opportunities that exist in the space. And so it was big to be a part of something just so large, so substantial. Essence definitely, like I mentioned, pulls in a number of people, but then also just has a lot of natural eyeballs. It was pretty cool. We got a chance to game with some pretty notable people. One of the individuals actually popped up already. Erin Ashley Simon is a huge leader in the space in regards to gaming and esports. Definitely one of the most prominent women leaders in the space. I want to say she's also Latinx, and so representing multiple backgrounds that are underserved and underrepresented. And then also Marseille Martin, formerly actress from the Blackish series. I want to say now on Grownish. I want to say. And so having her come over and game and really just show how relatable it is, of course, having you know, 5-star celebrity coming over, you know, but then she's playing Mortal Kombat and you know, really get into it and winning. So that was a huge opportunity, huge experience for us to really be able to expose our organization to the world. And of course the need for our program as well.
Yeah. And this was the first year that Essence had what it's called Essence Tech Summit. So this was the first year that we were able to actually activate within the Essence space, because they really wanted to make sure that the tech space was well known, knowing that, you know, first and foremost, the future is tech, but also within this space, there is now, like, if you'll see it, but there is gaming, there is AR, VR. They actually had a space that was called like Essence, like collegiate readiness, to where you know that once before you even get into college, hey, there are some ways for you to make sure that you are either tech focused or innovation focused, so that, you know, like I said, tech and innovation is the future. So anything, and that's what I will always say to anyone, anything that you are thinking about doing as far as creating a business or being an entrepreneur or just trying to get into another realm, involve innovation and tech in that. That is the way that you can create that differentiator. That's the way that you can make sure that you will be that leading person within that next either generation or the wave of whatever it is you're creating. So just wanting to say that within this Essence Tech Summit, this was the ability for us to say, hey, this is how we can reach back to our community, and this is how we can make sure that they're engaged and knowledgeable of the fact that these are spaces. So we met a lot of good people during this time. A lot of parents came up to us and said, hey, I need this at my school.
Oh, yeah.
We need to implement this. We need to implement more esports readiness training within our school boards and also like the school departments. So this was like kind of like a pillar to say, hey, not only New Orleans, because New Orleans was like, wait a second, we need to make sure we get an esports lab very soon.
Yep.
But also people that came from around the world to say, hey, how can we expand this to the next level? So it was an amazing opportunity. We had a great gaming setup. And so everybody came. When I say from young to old, literally everybody came. So people were playing Pokemon, people were playing Pac-Man. I was like, oh my gosh, like all of this is still a part of gaming. So it was an amazing time. First time in New Orleans too. So I had a great time.
Yeah, that was great. And I once again, just being able to see the people coming from around the world, that was the cool part, because, you know, once again, we always have the understanding or the narrative to challenge of gaming is maybe, you know, non-productive, or it's a meaning, you know, kind of a brainless activity, but a number of skills can be both gained and extracted from gameplay itself. But then, of course, once again, the industry itself is really where a lot of eyes get opened in regards to just the opportunity that exists.
Yeah.
And we mentioned, once again, providing infrastructure is a vital part of around solving the problem. So to highlight this next video, we went to Baltimore again, Morgan State, big university out of the DMV area. They were super excited and engaged, and we brought them an esports lab. And so, you know, being able to, one, come in and understand what the need is once again part of our process, but being able to solve for that need is where we get excited. So we understood students were playing, you know, Madden 2K from their dorms. You know, Valorant was definitely something that students were playing, but that's only if they had the means to on their own. But the interest for games like, you know, Valorant, even League were actually, you know, starting to increase. And other students mentioned they couldn't, you know, successfully participate in Rocket League and Apex because of, you know, different connectivity issues. So it was huge for us to come in and really be able to build an entire lab. I want to say it's probably 20 PCs in this lab. You know, there's a 6 or more teams from Call of Duty, Apex. They also, of course, have Madden teams, 2K teams. I think they're starting a League team, but all the same, a lot of engagement that otherwise probably wouldn't have been as, you know, possible or sustainable without this. And so once again, same day as the build out, students are already playing. You can see here one of the students, he goes by Biscuit, which is pretty cool. His call sign Biscuit is excited. He's just calling out every single piece. Yeah, the energy is hard to match right here.
Yeah. And I want to give the hugest shout out to Verizon. So Verizon donated $1 million for us to build out these esports labs. But they also then gave each of those schools that we donated that esports labs to 5 $20,000 scholarships. So the two people that you just saw, literally got those scholarships themselves. So imagine $20,000 when you were in school. It's like kind of unreal, unheard of. But this allowed them to now be able to continue on not only with the schooling, but also within the gaming and esports space. They now next year will be the president. Well, and I'm shouting this out to y'all because I already know you're going to watch it. But they now will be the presidents and vice presidents of the esports community and the esports lab going on in the future. Super big shout out to Chelsea. Want to make sure that I say, hey, thank you. And a big shout out to Taryn. So Taryn Morgan, he actually is the esports advisor at Morgan State. So if anybody is looking for a way to connect in that space, please reach out to him. And then Chelsea Garcia. She actually partnered, I know I mentioned it earlier on in the stream, but she partnered with Games for Change. And she actually did a study in data analytics on how we can increase this space and make sure that we are bridging that gap as much as possible. So wanted to make sure, thank you very much. Sorry, Chelsea, totally blendered your last name. But yes, wanted to make sure that they, at least knew about the data and the data analytics for why students, might not be able to be as productive within this space. Shout out to Chelsea. There she is. But yes, those, and that's what I said already for the esports labs, is the fact that we need those people in the space to really be our champions and to be the people that are pushing this forward. Because a lot of we're talking about parents, but also like the advisors at schools, the presidents at your schools. They might not know that this is something that really will not only generate money for them, but also provide a network and a resource for them to be able to create more innovation within their school and university themselves. So like I said, huge shout out to Chelsea, huge shout out to Taryn. You guys are awesome. And thank you so much for making sure that this happened. And an even bigger shout out to Verizon for making sure that we could give students like these the opportunity to not just continue their schooling, but also make sure that they're involved within the esports and gaming space.
Yeah, 100%. Big shout out. And let's see, do you want to go into another one or you want to start gaming?
Yeah, we can game.
Yeah.
And we can chop it up. Now listen.
Cool.
I already know. I don't know how this is going to work. If people are going to be clowning me in the chat. But hey, I'm here for it.
No, drop it in the chat everyone's favorite titles. I want to know what everybody's playing as well. I see everyone's been engaging, so someone say, hey, that's me. But yeah, I'd love to know everyone's favorite game. We're going to play a little bit of what, Rumbleverse or
I think multiverse.
Multiverses. I always get the names confused. Cool. So let's go ahead and get started.
Let's get started. I'm nervous. But we got it. But I guess I should say I got it.
Let me see.
And I love, as much of a gamer as I am, I love multiverses. I haven't actually played, but I like the fact that WB came in and joined all of their characters. Because I'm like, I can fight Superman with Scooby-Doo. That's fire. So I just like the concept of this.
It disappeared. Xbox is no longer showing up.
Yay.
All right, cool. We're back, y'all. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. My go-to right now is 2K. Yeah, I definitely get that. How you like the 223? I heard a lot of mixed feedback versus for 2K23 versus 22. What's your perspective, King? The eyeball, click the eyeball. I love it. Shout out to Sensei. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Is this not how I'm supposed to hold the controller? Am I
Oh, I
like a
think it's
kid?
because I'm on the wrong account. Let me see.
Nobody's giving me tips. How do I hold it better?
You got
Okay,
it.
I'm doing great. Okay.
You got it. Let me see. Oh, dang, why is it giving me
Feels
hit?
like a little kid. I know. And go back before you click enter because it's the W. No, the.
I love it. So supportive. Let me see your first device too.
Maybe.
Someone said, the shoulder's gonna come back up.
Right, you know it.
Oh, weak.
I'm right back up here. Right back up here.
That's hilarious. Goodness gracious.
Maybe we play another game.
Yeah, we can. Let's see.
Oh, let's play Just Dance. I'm just kidding.
I was like, that's
That one I know I can play.
Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. All right, everybody, we're gonna not do this to y'all. We're gonna play some. Yeah, let me do this. All right, so let's see what other games we have that are popping into the chat. Sensei, you got a lot to say. What's some of your favorite titles right now? What are you playing? Is it Apex? What is it? I see Atiana said Cult of the Lamb. Don't know what that is. I think I heard of that. You might. Apex Legends, of course. WWE 2K22. Yeah, everybody loves 2K22. We could do.
What about Brawl?
Where do you see that? You,
I just saw the one. I saw that Avatar one. I didn't know what that was.
that was it. Okay, thank you. I couldn't see anything. I just say it needs to be. Let's see. Any other good games we playing? Why does the color look like this?
And so they're giving you the throwback, 1994 to the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Why does it give me a no signal?
It doesn't want me to play.
All right, what's up, y'all? We back. All right, so what we're gonna do is really once again highlight, if you will, just some of the real tangible use cases of what we do. We'll round this out. We know we went a little bit long. We're supposed to end at 4. So what we'll do is, really just shout out both what we've done, some of our partners, and then once again, definitely curious and love to hear from y'all. So drop any final kind of thoughts, needs, hurdles, even interest in the chat, and we'll make sure to address all of that individually.
Exactly. So as we've been saying, that's what we're all about. That's what community is all about, is making sure that we're bridging this digital divide as much as possible, especially within underserved communities. So I just wanted to shout out a few of the events that we did do that we did not highlight today, but we did do the World Games and those championships where students created their own campuses. And they literally, when I say went from 0 to 100, it was amazing. So that World of Games was perfect for students to be able to create that. So shout out again to Microsoft for being able to fund these students to be able to not just attend World of Games, but also to be able to create those spaces that they did. Also want to make sure that we are shouting out Riot. So Riot Games, we did a partnership with them this year to where we did our fireside chats. If you were a part of those fireside chats, please drop it in the chat, and thank you and kudos. Because we had over 100 participants on every one of those. So we were just giving key tips to people that wanted to get into the industry. And the way that started was something that we started called community opportunities, to where we were teaching and giving students, hey, scholarships, internships, and jobs within these spaces. Just join on to this hour Zoom, and we will give you those opportunities and give you some cool ways to be able to get into the space and be able to build your resume. Yes, fireside chat. Thank you. They were awesome. So big shout out to everybody that joined, but huge shout out to Riot Games, because then that led into us doing the Kickback Cup. So that was amazing, of where we literally, from the foundation of what Julian talked about, from Julian, Ryan, and Chris, having the idea of what this will be in the future. I always say, like, that event was the pillar to what the success of community, and especially Gaming Community Co. is. So we had it start off with panel discussions from Riot team members and staff. That then led into a panel that also highlighted the Riot Immersion Program. So the Riot Immersion Program was specifically for HBCU students to get into Riot Games and internships. So those students came and talked to other students about how to leverage that space. But then we ended it all with a concert. And so we had G Herbo come out and actually be a part of that event and activation, where we also then had a tournament of people like from UGA to Morgan State to Howard to Georgia State be able to compete against each other in those main kind of gaming spaces. So big shout out to Riot Games.
Yeah, big shout out to Riot. The Kickback Cup is definitely something, let us know which city we should be in next. We want to take this thing on the road. Once again, Justice mentioned it, there were panels from the technical staff, from non-technical staff, everyone sharing their story around how they got into the space, helping, and I think it's important to highlight the audience were students from different universities all over the state, different K-12. So we had some middle school students in there, high school students, so about 300 or so different students in the audience who got to learn directly from Riot staff, directly from other students who have also been able to engage in the immersion programs. And once again, the topics were all around how they personally leverage their own, paths and journey, and how other students can do the same. And then also my favorite part was the resume review workshop. There was literally 4 or 5 rioters, the Riot team members, who, were actually focused on looking at the resumes of college students in the room. And that was huge. We had students who didn't even know that was going to be a thing, or others who actually brought their resume and got a chance to really engage with the hiring managers of a billion-dollar company. Yeah. So how valuable is that advice? And then, like we mentioned, the tournaments, the students from, traditional colleges oftentimes don't interact with HBCU students and vice versa. And so being able to have UGA and Howard, I want to say maybe it was Morgan, go head to head. That was big. Once again, not only from the student perspective, but just so those institutions, for those actual platforms to be in the same realm, is definitely something that hasn't been provided in many places. And I want to say we're probably one of a few that are also, focused on integrating, our students into the traditional space. And so, like you mentioned as well, it rounded out with a concert. So once again, if any of this sounds like something that you all want to engage in or want to see Maybe you're already a working professional and you just know this will be helpful for the next generation. Let us know. Once again, we really are based. We base a lot of our activity off of the engagement that we're experiencing. So knowing where to be next is definitely going to be important.
Yes. Huge shout out to Riot. Once again, we ended our last fireside chat about a week ago. Hey. So next year we will be back and in action. Wanted to make sure that we shout out our good old Philly and DMV partners. So we did do a partnership with One Philadelphia and Coded by Kids, where we taught high school and collegiate students about game development and coding. That actually, the curriculum and the facilitation was by one of our own interns.
Yeah.
So Daria is actually a graduate of Georgia State, and she is now continuing on to get her master's at Full Sail University. But she created the game development curriculum, and then she also taught that curriculum to other high school and collegiate students. So thank you and big shout out to Danae for giving us the opportunity with Coded by Kids to be able to do that in Philadelphia, and also with local host, for us being able to utilize that facility, which then also led us into being partners with One Philadelphia, to where we are going to be presenting an amazing gaming event next year. Shout out. 2023. Look out for it in February, and we will be bringing gaming to the Philadelphia community.
Yes, but huge shout out to Daria as well.
Yes.
Yeah, her coming in, just being a leader in the space is
Yes.
once again an exact use case of who we look to support and uplift.
Exactly. Yeah. Going into it, having a concentration in game design already, she was not thinking that she would be teaching that to anyone else. And so when she did it, we're like, you blew our minds. So we want to encourage students to keep doing that. And that is what we're all about. It's like whatever you already are pursuing as far as degree or entrepreneur wise, that is a role that is still needed in the gaming space. So big shout out to all of our Philadelphia partners. Want to make sure that we shout out our DMV partners as well. So huge shout out to Training Grounds, and an even bigger shout out to our DC Innovation Lab. So we now have a partnership to where students can literally walk down the street and be able to have PCs ready and available to them to be able to not just play tournament wise, but also have something to do outside of school. A lot of after you get out of school and after school programs, what do I do on the weekend? How do I still keep engaged within this gaming community? So we are creating these innovation labs that are outside of HBCU. So that DC lab was not built at an HBCU. So even though you see a lot of our content being HBCU esports labs, no, we are also building innovation labs so that the YMCA's, Boys and Girls Club, or whatever of the world, these community centers, which is where a lot of our youth are going, they have that resource and that capability to be able to do so. So just huge shout out to everybody there. Huge shout out to Roger Bell that's out there. Huge shout out to Reggie, Brother Steve, all of the people that have helped us just get to where we are today with that DC community. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, everybody that has helped us get to this point. And so last but not least, I want to say and kind of like round out everything by something that I kind of coined and want to make sure that we're pushing this as much as possible, but in the community. So in the community was one of our most recent events that we did actually at Atlantic Station. And we're going to play a quick video so that you can see what it is. And we want to bring this to you. So let's go ahead and play it. And I'm not even going to talk over it because it's really quick.
We are here in the community, literally. This is our inaugural event, the first ever of many to come. We want to bring this to your city. We are here at Atlantic Station in Atlanta, Georgia, bringing gaming to your community.
I love it. Love it.
Shout out to Jelani. But yes, this, for me, this is kind of like that, the roundabout, idea of this happening in more cities, everything that we've talked about, from innovation labs to esports labs to scholarships to technology donations to software development to actual training of our esports readiness program, all the way down to the event like this, like in the community. This is what we are all about. That is why, for myself, I took the job that I did of director of operations, because you see on how many levels we can touch not a specific age demographic, but all age demographics. You saw parents in that video. You saw young kids, you saw older kids, even ourselves just being super involved. So we want to bring this to every city. I want to have it in the community. Well, next year, Q1, you'll see in the community Philadelphia. I'm going to have it in the community DC, but where next? So in the communities, in the community Tennessee, in the community North Carolina. Like, let's make it happen by bringing out partners within these spaces that are already doing the work. We just need to partner with those people. And a lot of people will feel like I have to start from the ground up with anything that I'm doing. And that's not the case. And we will be the true testament of that, of, hey, we always say, like, it takes a village, right? Well, same energy to what it is of this. It takes a village for all of us to bridge it together to say, we can take some of this stuff while you take something else. So want to make sure that we do more of these in more communities.
Absolutely. No, it's I love it. Yeah. And once again, to do that, and once we get to each city, what we want to do is be able to provide that awareness of what this space offers. Gaming and esports is something that many of us engage in, but don't realize how much we have to contribute to this space. And then alongside that, really acknowledging, the infrastructural hurdles, or maybe the access and hurdles. And so all of this leads up to, what we've been doing, what we showed today, kind of highlighting, the partners that are helping us do it in 2023. Yes. Big shout out once again to our partners for this upcoming year.
Thank you.
Comcast is one of them. They've definitely committed to not just, deploying programs, but really making sure there's the sustaining infrastructure for, this type of learning and engagement. Yes. We said Verizon, but a huge shout out to them as well. Yes. To providing scholarships to women studying STEM, different individuals from different backgrounds, as well as, different, the actual labs themselves being built out, which is huge. Riot, we mentioned around the, Kickback Cup, even the fireside chats, which in my opinion, make all of those touch points that much more real in regards to having leaders that you can access. Microsoft has been a consistent partner of being in the community, pun intended, but also making sure they're able to provide the real world tangible resources that, are valued in the workforce. And then lastly, some of our newer partners from the One Philadelphias of the world, Coded by Kids, really allowing us to come into other cities and provide the programming that we know is vital. So to all of our existing partners, all of our previous partners, thank you. Huge shout out. Once again, this is our Giving Tuesday stream. So, feel free to hit that donate ! Link. It'll shoot you over to our Ko-fi page to actually help us reach our $3 million goal, to be in all the different regions, the various communities, all the different schools that we need to be in, and provide, once again, the awareness, the infrastructure, and the access to this gaming industry. So I'll say thank you in advance for helping us really obtain this mission and, create new solutions for ourselves. So thank you in advance.
Thank you to all of our partners. Thank you to this next year. Thank you to every student that has been engaged with us from the beginning all the way up until now.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part of this. As much as today is Giving Tuesday, it also is the week after Thanksgiving. So I'm going to give huge thanks. And I want to say thank you to our team. Thank you to the community team from where we started to where we are today. It would not be possible without you. And huge, I don't know what we're going to get you for Christmas, but it's going to be something nice, because you'll see in all of our videos that our team makes this happen. So huge shout out to Daria. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you all so much. And of course, thank you to our also CXM team of the Karimas, of the Warrens, of the Chris's, of the Ryans. Thank you all so much for being a part of this story that it is that we are telling for us to bridge this digital divide. So I want to make sure that we're giving the shout out.
Yeah, and that was a great recap. And I'll say this last piece and then we'll close it out. What does the X mean in our name? We use the word community as a part of our actual branded name. And so what does that mean? And why is there an X there? And I think that's actually a great point as to which, how we even got here and even what we want to do. So the X is one button that is on every controller, keyboard from, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, of course your PC. They all have the X button. And so once again, we're using that resemblance to understand, no matter what part of the gaming community you find yourself in, from the fighter games to the first person shooters to your Bejeweled, maybe your adventure games, that's 100% okay. There's supposed to be different types of gamers. And then similarly, no matter where you find yourself in the world, whether that's, underserved community, Black community, privileged community, what we understand is, all communities make up the gaming community. So from all backgrounds, all different types of gamers, what we want to be is that central place of support, resources, and really, the guidance to get to your ultimate goal. So love for you all to join the community. Once again, it's meant for everyone of all backgrounds. Definitely ask and inquire ways to engage and support. But yeah, once again, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out.